Random House Audio presents Merge, read for you by J.D. Jackson, and Disciple, read for you by Bernard K. Addison. Two short novels from Crosstown to Oblivion by Walter Mosley. Merge. This is J.D. Jackson. There ain't no blues like the sky. It wasn't there a moment before, and then it was. In my living room at 7:16 in the evening on Tuesday, December the 12th, 2007. I thought at first it was a plant, a dead branch actually, leaning up against the wall opposite my desk. I tried to remember it being there before. I'd had many potted shrubs and bushes in my New York apartment over the years. They all died from lack of sun. Maybe this was the whitewood sapling that dropped its last glossy green leaf just 4 months after I bought it, 2 weeks before my father died. But no, I remembered forcing that plant down the garbage chute in the hall. Just as I was about to look away, the branch seemed to quiver. The chill up my spine was strong enough to make me flinch. What the hell? I could make out a weak, hissing sound in the air. Maybe that sound was what made me look up in the first place. It was a faltering exhalation, like a man in the process of dying in the next room, or the room beyond that. I stood up from the 17th set of lectures in the 8th volume of the Popular Educator Library, and moved, tentatively, toward the shuddering branch. My apartment was small and naturally dark, but I had 600-watt incandescent lamps, specially made for construction sites, set up in opposite corners. I could see quite clearly that the branch was not leaning against the wall, but standing, swaying actually, on a root system that was splayed out at its base, like the simulation of a singular broad foot. The shock of seeing this wavering tree limb standing across from me had somehow short-circuited my fear response. I moved closer, wondering if it was some kind of serpent that one of my neighbors had kept for a pet. Could snakes stand up straight like that? The breathing got louder and more complex as I approached. I remembered thinking, great, I win the lotto only to be killed by a snake 9 months later. Maybe I should have done what Nicci told me and moved to a nice place on the Upper West Side. I had the money, $26 million over 20 years. But I didn't want to move right off. I wanted to take it slowly, to understand what it meant to be a millionaire, to never again worry about work or paying the bills. The sound was like the hiss of a serpent, but I didn't see eyes or a proper mouth. Maybe it was one of those South American seed drums that someone had put there to scare me. Nicci? I called into the bedroom, even though I knew she couldn't be there. Nicci, are you in there? No answer. She had sent my key back 2 years before, a little while after she left me for Thomas Beam. Even though I was facing this strange, hissing branch, the thought of Tom Beam brought back the stinging memory of Nicci asking me if I minded if she went out to a show with him. He's just a friend, she'd said. He's not interested in me or anything like that. And then, 2 months later, after we had made love in my single bed, her saying, I've been sleeping with Tommy for 6 weeks, Raul. What? We've been fucking, all right? She said, as if I had been the one to say something to make her angry. What does this mean? I asked. I knew that she hadn't been enjoying sex with me. I knew that she was getting ready to go back to college and finish her degree in business, that she was always telling me that I could do better than the filing job I had with the Binman and Lowell accounting agency. "Do you love him?" I asked. "I don't know." "Are you going to keep seeing him?" "For a while," Nicci Charbon said. "What do you want?" It was just after midnight, and my penis had shrunk down to the size of a lima bean. The head had actually pulled back into my body. My palms started itching, so much so that I scratched at them violently. "What's wrong?" Nicci asked. "What's wrong? You just told me that you're fucking Tommy Beam." "You don't have to use foul language," she said. "But you said the word first." "I did not." We went back and forth on that fine point until Nicci said, "Well, what if I did say it? You're the one who told me it was all right to go out with him." It was then that I lost heart. Nicci Charbon was the most beautiful woman I had ever known. I was amazed every morning I woke up next to her, and surprised whenever she smiled to see me. "I don't want to lose you, Nicci," I said. I wanted to ask her to come back to me, but that seemed like a silly thing to say when we were in bed together in the middle of the night. "You don't care about me and Tommy?" she asked. "I don't want you to see him." It was the first bit of backbone I showed. Nicci got sour-faced, turned her back, and pretended to sleep. I tried to talk to her, but she said that she was too upset to talk. I said that I was the one that should have been upset. She didn't answer that. I sat there awake until about 3. After that, I got dressed and went down to Milo's all-night diner on Lexington. I ordered coffee and read yesterday's newspaper, thought about Nicci doing naked things with Tom Beam, and listened to my heart thudding sometimes slowly, sometimes fast. When I got back at 6, Nicci was gone. She'd left a note saying that it would probably be better if we didn't see each other for a while. I didn't speak to her again for 15 months. Most of that time I was in pain. I didn't talk about it all that much because there was no one to talk to, and also because we were at war, and a broken heart seems less important when you have peers that are dying from roadside landmines. And then I won the lotto. Nicci called me 3 days after it was announced. "No," she said when I asked about her new boyfriend. "I don't see Tommy all that much anymore. We were hot and heavy there at first, but then I started college and he went to work for Anodyne down in Philly." She called me every day for 2 weeks before I agreed to see her. We had lunch together, and I didn't kiss her when we parted. She wanted to see me again, but I said we could talk on the phone. I wanted to see her, that was for sure. She looked very beautiful when we got together for lunch at Milo's. She wore a tight yellow dress, and her makeup made her wolf-gray eyes glow with that same hungry look that they had the first night she came up to my place. But what was I supposed to do? Nicci had dropped me like an anchor, cut the rope, and sailed off with another man. And now there was this seed drum or serpent hissing in my room. A 4-inch slit opened in the stick toward where the head would be if it was a snake or a man. The opening was the length of a human mouth, only it was vertical and lipless. A rasping breath came from the thing, and I heard something else. A sound. A syllable.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?